What's up guys, we meet again for another review of a toy that I've managed to track down and buy during one of my usual toy hunting weekends, and this time around we go back to Transformers after a couple of weeks of doing Marvel Legends and whatnot. We go back to Transformers, and this time around I have Scourge with me from the Studio Series 86. Now for those of you who know the Studio Series 86, it is some sort of tribute to the robots that were kind of introduced during the most beautiful Transformer movie of all time, the 86 Transformer movie, and part of the new wave of the Decepticons was this fellow here, Scourge. Now for those of you who are familiar with the storyline, after the Decepticons were beaten into retreat following a failed attack on the Autobot city, they boarded Astrotrain and headed back towards Cybertron. But Astrotrain didn't have the energy necessary to make the trip with all the Decepticons inside, so the injured were jettisoned off into the vacuum of space. A decision had to be made, and guess what? Who made the decision? It was your mighty Starscream, the leader. Anyway, these soldiers were drawn to Unicron, who then reforged them into a new powerful soldier to do his bidding. And among these creations was, of course, Scourge. Now, I don't think it was ever established who actually got reforged into Scourge. But one thing I know is that there was Scourge, and he was the leader of the a few of the robots that kind of look like him, called the Sweeps, I believe. And so, to just put it in a nutshell, I think you can probably army build this guy, because he and his let's say minions, they all are from the same mold as such. So a couple of this guy alongside Cyclonus and Galvatron, and there you have it. You have pretty much the same, essentially the whole new wave of Decepticons that was introduced into the movie. So that's a little bit of background of Scourge himself, and of course he is also quite shall we say noticeable differences from let's say the previous generation of Decepticons to the one that was introduced in the movie and subsequently, is that they all don some sort of like goatee mustache look, and yeah, it's why would a robot have any mustache or beard? God knows, don't know, but there you go. Anyway, so let's look at this bad boy here and see what we get. As usual, the pack, or the box rather, comes in this nice little packaging, paying tribute to the 86 movie, as you can see here, and I believe he's number 5 in the line. He is a Voyager class, so not too big, not too small. A nice window display that showcases the figure, and of course some small nifty artwork, tribute to Transformers the movie, some site artwork as well, and of course an indication of the figure and how it looks like when you take him out of the box, as well as his alt mode, which is in this case I believe it was some sort of like a Cybertronian hovercraft or something like that. So, and also the amount of steps needed to transform him into his robot mode, into his alt mode. So 19, I think this is as simple as it can get. I've never seen anything as lower than 19, so he should be okay to transform in a jiffy. So there you go, there's Scourge. So what we'll do is try to open him up and see what he's all about. Right guys, what you get out of the box is obviously Scourge in all his glory, in his obviously the figure, some blasters, and what looks like some effects that you attach to the blaster itself. So I mean, one of the things I've kind of noticed with this sort of the Studio Series robot figures is that they feel a bit more premium than like your conventional one. I don't know whether it's just some mind tricks being played, but it just is a bit more, shall we say, detailed, and it feels a bit more what's the word that I'm looking for, better in terms of quality, in terms of and obviously that justifies the price, because one of these will go for, last time I checked on Big Bad Toy Store, around the $32 mark. Of course it's still in a pre-order status, and it's expected to arrive April 2021. I, however, was lucky enough to find it locally, so I had the plans to buy this from Big Bad Toy Store, but since I got it locally, it was relatively cheaper than what you could get from Big Bad Toy Store. I thought I would pull the trigger. So there you go. So that's that, and then you have the usual manual and some what do you call legalities and whatnot made from and all that, which we don't care. I never tend to read the manual anyway when transforming. And of course, this beautiful backdrop of how I mean, if anyone who's familiar with the what do you call that, the movie, this is the scene where they were all kind of floating, and they were pulled towards the gravity of Unicron, and this is the sort of depiction of them being reforged into something other than their broken down states. In this case, we can see some Insecticons, and perhaps Scourge here is a remnant or a reforged Insecticon in some ways. I don't know. I could be wrong though, but I don't think it was ever established who was forged into what, essentially, apart from Galvatron, obviously, because Galvatron is from Megatron. Anyway, fantastic looking backdrop is something that I do like this Studio Series backdrops. He just brings some, and it's also quite a sturdy one as well. So you can pose these figures with the, let's say, the figure. I mean, the robot, and it looks quite pleasant. So that's where it stands at the moment. So what I'll try to do is take him out and let's see him in his robot mode and also in his alt mode, and then revert back to the what do you call that, robot mode, and take it from there. Now, to transform Scourge into his alt mode, it's like I said, not very complicated as such. Now, what I tend to do is start with the easiest. In this case, would be to fold the heels like inside, and then the toes as well, so you get the sort of like a flat look to it, and the legs themselves just attached together. You have the sort of peg here and the hole, so you just bring them together, and voila, you got that straight leg. Now just make sure everything is aligned so that it makes the job that much more easier. You want to bring his arm pretty straight like that, and the idea is to split the arms from the body so that they bring it all the way down to his leg. Likewise, do that, and then there is a tab and a hole here, and all you have to do is push that in, and you have pretty much the first part of the transformation covered. So you have this kind of look, left, right, however this helps you. And then next thing you want to do is to split the head from the body. But first, before that, as I said here, there was a reason why this small thing on top of his head was independent. So you want to rotate it to the front, and what you want to do is split the head from the body. Now make sure the sort of the wings get out of the way. Basically, these two sides here is just like a skin that covers his body. Later on you'll see that. So if you split it, see, everything comes out just like that. So you split it, and voila. So what you want to do is make it all straight, so that it's like his head is straight and lying down on his body. And you will also see two holes here which goes nicely into these tabs. So just push it in ever so gently, and then you bring this back portion here to fix to the what is this, jet propulsion thingy, and there you go. So you have that. Now of course his head here is exposed, so what you want to do, there is another thing here that you can bring forward just to close his head, bring it all so nicely, and let's see, just push that in. Now like I said, as usual with all the transformers, just a little bit of fidgeting here and there, and you can get it right eventually, and there you go. So that's most of the job done. What you want to do is then just bring the skin to cover his body, to get that sort of hovercraft look. The skin kind of folds onto itself, so you just have to bring that in, all these hinges, make it one long piece. Likewise here, bring it all a piece. Now you can start to see the skin, and you bring them forward like that, and voila, you're starting to see the design it was intended to begin with. So just close all that in, close this cover, and like I said, you can see some tabs here, some slots. You just have to make sure everything is kind of squeezed in ever so tightly, so that you don't have any gaps as such, and that should allow you to form the skin over and on top of the body. Now of course, like I said, a little bit of a little bit of finesse is needed. If you have monster hands like mine and you try to push it, it's gonna come out, so just be careful with that. But the idea, I'm getting into that, so let's just ever so slightly, come on. Oh, sorry, there you go. Okay, something has come out. Let's just push that in all ever so gently. There you go. Okay, so there you go. So there, nothing to worry about that. And what I like is that all that nice clickety clackety to make sure everything is in place. There you go. There you go. And okay, let's just fix this. Which portion is that? Okay, there you go, this way. And if I were to bring that like that, there you go, and then you just have to bring that in, and you have what is essentially like a, I don't know, Cybertronian hovercraft of some sort, like those kind of vehicles that you see in Star Wars. Is it flush? It can be not very flush, but there are some gaps here, no matter how much I try to push. Like I said, sometimes you want to go for finesse, but at the same time you want to push everything in place because I hate these gaps. But like I said, a little bit more patience and you can get it there. But that's a story for another day. What I'd like to show you is this is his alt mode. So you can see here he has that hovercraft feel about him, and then the idea is maybe he can also go in sea, I suppose, with that look. Anyway, so that's how it goes. Now to transform him back again, the easiest is to do what is necessary. So you take that out and you fold it down. Likewise, the thing that covers his face, bring it forward, and his face, as you can remember, this small piece was actually the other way around. You want to push it back to its place. Now the other thing is you bring this all down and you split the skin to the point where it no longer covers his body to the full extent. Then fold it onto itself, fold it again, and voila. Likewise, bring it all out, fold it, and there you go, the skin is out. Next thing you do is split the leg, split the arms, and you want to bring the head back into its original place. So once you've pulled all that out, for ease you can connect the hands or arms, push it back in, voila. So the only thing he's missing now is his actual head. So that, like I said, is split into right flat. So remember this tab here, pull that out, bring all the thing in front, and what you want to do is just make sure it all fits in nicely, and you push it back, and voila, you have Scourge back in his robot form, and the kind of form that I like to pose him, because let's face it, he just looks magnificent in this form rather than his whatever hovercraft or whatever he is supposed to be. So there you go. So in a nutshell, a fantastic figure. I highly recommend this figure because, quite frankly, we are living in some fantastic time, especially to get figures from the movie, and just something that is extraordinary. So I'm happy with that. So let's take it from there. With that, guys, I think I will conclude the video, because obviously, as like always, all Transformer videos tend to take longer than it is necessary. So with that in mind, take care and stay safe. I'm getting a call from someone, so see you guys. Adios.
swerving, make it trendy. We look sexy, here we go, making really on, getting icy zone, flexing. I've been swerving, make it trendy. We look sexy, It's so icy, icy, icy. 엄마 내 combination 새로운 가간지 머리 swag 남들이 잘 때도 쓸어담지. Breaking good, life is good. 한동안 잊었어 이 느낌을. For better life, for better love. 이제는 나도 두 배 벌어. I don't give a fuck, who should give a fuck. 요즘 애들이